I hereby call this special meeting of the board to order. Roll call, please.
Brown is here. Mrs. Galbert.
Here.
Dr. Hall. Mr. Solano.
Here.
Mrs. Walters.
Here.
Vice President Wu.
Here.
President Albert.
Here. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Roop, would you please read our mission statement?
It's to empower each student to positively impact the world for a bright new future.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to open a public hearing on the closing of Moani Education Center building?
Moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brown is an aye. Mrs. Galbert.
Aye.
Mr. Solano.
Aye.
Mrs. Walters.
Aye.
Vice President Wu.
Aye.
President Albert.
Aye. Motion carries. So first, Dr. Kara is going to make a presentation, and then we'll open it up for any public comment.
Good evening, board members and members of our community. I wanted to take this opportunity to spend a few minutes sharing with all of you the reasons behind our recommendation for closing the Moani Education Center building. As you know, this program has been a wonderful program that we have housed at the Moani Education Center building in Moani for approximately 20 years. It has morphed from starting off as called CAP to being called the Moani Education Center. And you can see we have Mr. Wortel and Ms. Pappas. They have been our administrators there for the majority of the time. And with the programs that we offer at this site, it allows for small class sizes. It allows for more support for students that need additional resources. And it offers online classes as well as small group in non-traditional teaching methods. But more recently, in the past few years, we have been noticing significant problems that are beginning to emerge. For example, these are our 4 areas. The first one is low student enrollment. We're going to share with you in a few minutes the enrollment has declined in this program for the last few years at that site. The next one is diminished student to teacher ratios. The next one is rising per student expenditures. And the last one is deficient inequitable facilities. And I'll talk a little bit more about each of these. When we talk about fiscal feasibility, when we take a look at how much it costs to educate one of our students, we take a look at the costs for salaries, expenditures at buildings, transportation. Those all go into a per student ratio. And I'll show you in just a few minutes how we calculate that amongst all of our schools in the district and where the students at MEC emerge. This is a look at a 5-year trend looking at our data. As you can see, we've had some significant decline in the last few years. Back as far as in 2018, we had about 46 students in the program. And currently, at the beginning of this year, we have 19. So it has gone down quite a bit. And even the students that are going to be going in, would be going in for next year, that number has gone down significantly. When I had mentioned to you about the spending per student ratio, this gives you a chance to see it visually of what we are spending per student at for the Moani Education Center. And this was taken from the Illinois report card of 21 school year. You can see across all of our schools, Moani Education Center tends to have the highest amount spent per student, and that's about over $70,000 per student compared to some of our others in the district, including the high school program. So it is somewhat of an outlier. Some other things we want to take a look at, we want to look at the students that are attending that building. They do not have the access to the newer high school facilities that we have. They also do not have access to career and technical education programs such as our manufacturing program, JRTC, as well as others, and they do not have access to enrichment and extracurricular activities. And again, it's based on the proximity of where the program is located. They are somewhat removed, and it's very difficult to transport them back so that they can participate with the other students in after-school programming as well. Though they are participating in many great activities, again, there's many more that are offered at in the regular traditional high school setting. When we look at our equity statement, it is really important to make sure that we are taking down barriers and obstructions for equity. We're making sure that students have equitable facilities, programs, resources. And as we look at our statement number 2, which basically states, we will analyze data through a culturally responsive lens in order to direct resources, opportunities, and supports based on student, staff, and community needs. We are feeling that we are not meeting this goal for students at that particular site where we have it. So just to summarize some of the key points tonight, we are noticing limited enrollment. We are noticing that there's a large expenditure based on the students that are going there, and also that the students that are going at that particular site, they are not having access to newer facilities, programming that the rest of our students are. So we believe this is the time to consider closing that building, but we're not closing the program, but we're going to be moving that over to the high school and looking at adding the new wing, which we're beginning to have a conversation with now. But the building at this point, we believe, has met its obligation and is probably ready to retire that site. We do have some upcoming public hearings still ahead. We have April 12th, and that's at 6 p.m. We have April 19th, 6 p.m., and April 22nd at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So this hearing is being videotaped. The other two will not be, so this will be posted on our website for people to view at their convenience. Any questions?
I think the only thing, just to clarify, just so we're all on, so everybody transparent, we're not closing down MEC program.
No.
We're relocating it to a new
Relocating.
facility, which
Yes.
is attached to the high school. But I think that's just the idea, so everybody understands that we're taking that program and we're moving it over. And I think the money that it would take to add some of the things at MEC, the current building, and bring it up to code, and add air conditioning and everything, it was more feasible to put the addition on. And I think Mr. Surma alluded to it, that at some point our long-term facility and finance plan says we have too many buildings. So coupling them into one building is a financial, it's finance sense as well, just because the upkeep of the building is going to be too expensive.
That is correct.
I think, and just to clarify too, we're not, opening this wing for, 19 students or less. The intention is that program will be built up to higher numbers again.
Yes, we're looking to service at least 80 to 90 students at that part of the building.
Yeah, and you put alternate teaching methods and non-traditional. I think what everybody's losing too is that, I understand maybe nostalgia, however it looks, but in the next 5 to 7 years, teaching is not going to be the same.
It's already changing.
It's not going to be what it is today. It's not going to be what it was 10 years ago. Teacher shortages, administration, staff shortages. It's just going to be different. So having that could turn into something else, meaning our non-traditional teaching ways may be something of the future. I don't know what to say with that, but I don't think in 5 to 7 years we're not going to be having the same discussions we are today.
That is correct. Any other questions?
I just have one question. I know some parents had alluded to the kids learn better, those kids that's over at MEC learn better by being in small groups and being kind of isolated from the mainstream of things. So how do you respond to that, those parents or staff members that say, hey, are we going to still have the same environment where isolation is there, or what?
Yes, and that is a good question. We have been meeting with the architects. In fact, I just met with them today, and we are meeting with administrators, and we're actually going to be meeting with the teachers at MEC probably next week to show them the plans. The plans that are put in place do still carry the spirit of having them somewhat off by themselves, so they have that small, more cohesive environment for them to continue. So we are maintaining that in the new facility.
And Kara, the gap year here before the new facility is ready adjacent to the high school, will they also be segregated or separated in classrooms within the existing high school building?
Correct. We are estimating about 3 to 5 students that will be going to the high school. We have reserved about 3 classrooms to maintain their current structure, and we will be keeping the MEC teachers there to continue that programming for those students. And so they are somewhat isolated in that hallway. They may have a staggered schedule, so they may be coming in at a different time than the other students, as far as they're not having to go in at the same time with buses, and they may have an alternative lunch schedule as well. So we are still maintaining the type of environment that they're used to.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
And Terry, there are no public comments?
No, sir, we have no public comments.
Board, do you want to keep the meeting open in case somebody comes in for public comment, or should we close the public hearing? I'm looking.
We can have a time frame for closing this.
No.
No, just that the next one starts at 6:30, our regular meeting.
My son was one of the, if not the first classroom that we had.
Would you mind going up to the mic? Just so we can hear you, thank you.
I just wanted to recommend that my son was probably one of the very first graduating class out of CAP in 2002. It served him incredibly well. He is a very successful young man raising a family of 3, and if he hadn't had CAP, he would have been in jail, I'm sure. So I just want to say thank you for that program, and I hope it continues because there are children that need that. So thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Want to close? Yep, okay. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing on the closing of Moani Education Center building?
Moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Brown is an aye.
Repeat, Brown is an aye. Mrs. Galbraith?
Aye.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Walters?
Aye.
Vice President Root?
Aye.
President Albrecht?
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion to adjourn? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we are adjourned from the special meeting. You can turn off the